Hi there, I'm Tala Shatara. Thank you so much for joining us on Focus today. Well, as the mayor of Music City, today's guest has a unique responsibility, not just helping shape Nashville's future, but doing so in a city where music, creativity, and culture are woven into our everyday lives. Today, we're sitting down with Freddie O'Connell to discuss several issues impacting families across city, including music education, making sure students have access to the arts, as well as new childcare initiatives designed better to support working parents and how they're fast-tracking that. We'll also take some time to get to know the mayor behind the policies and the press conferences, from his own musical interest to what life is really like living in Nashville. Because I kind of think you have to like music to be the mayor of Music City, right?
I think it's good both to like music and to love the city, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So you already are good for the job, so your requirement is good. I thought we could start really quickly, of course, with a lightning round, just to get people to know you a little bit better. For me as well, we need a little kindergarten icebreaker in here.
We'll do it. Tala, thanks so much for having me on, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Hey, be careful when you say that to me. I am really excited to have you. Let's start easy, okay? So many restaurants here. Where are we going, maybe even after this?
Oh, gosh. After this, I was thinking there's a few areas near your studio that are good. One of my favorites that I just discovered is Peachtree Grill, right on the edge of Woodbine. So it's fun. It's a neat story behind it, too, so your listeners can learn more about it. I also, right here off of Fort Negley, love Gabby's Burgers and Fries. So I'm going to have to pick between those two when I leave the studio today.
I like it. And you kind of have a little bit of just a different side of the totem pole. You've got your super easy fries and burgers, and then you got your nice little dining, which I like.
Yeah. And then, if I'm doing, a fancier special occasion, I'm probably going to Taylor, which is one of my favorites. It's just kind of an amazing how a guy's family story influences sort of Southern fusion, farm to table, but Indian heritage. And it's just kind of an amazing experience. Like he tells a story with almost every dinner. So it's kind of amazing.
And you're bringing Tala with you.
Sure. And they've got a good bar. So it's the whole experience.
I love it. What are we ordering at the bar?
Actually, he's probably got something with cardamom in it. So, it's kind of an interesting place.
Okay. I really like that. Okay. Unique. I love a mixologist. That's really, really cool. All right. We're outdoors constantly. Summer is here. Maybe favorite park that we like to stroll around?
If I'm going to a park, I'm probably going to one that we're still at the era where playgrounds matter for the kids. And so might go out to Red Caboose Park in Bellevue. Might go out to Madison. They've got an amazing playground and community center out there. Love what they've done at Ravenwood with some new park equipment there. So these are like some of the bigger, more open parks, and they're fun. If I'm going for a hike, still love to get out to both Beeman and Bells Bend, Radnor Lake.
Nice. Do you like to bike? Are we a walker?
So if I do that, if I'm on my bike, I'm probably going down to Shelby Bottoms or going out on the Music City Greenway, kind of along the levee.
Yeah, and that kind of segues into my next thing I wanted to ask you, working out, right? We got to stay in shape, mentally, physically. Your job is very taxing, and this might be a very good therapeutic way to do it. Is that your workout of choice, is biking? If
I have the opportunity, I'm probably going to be on my bike. It's been a little harder to do it for schedule reasons, just with the family schedule and the household schedule alongside the work schedule in recent years, but one of the best things that happened not long after the election was at silent auction. I won a membership to Sportsplex, and so they've got a great fitness facility. So I do try to get over there about once a week.
Nice. That's really awesome. This kind of ties into what we were asking because, obviously working out is super therapeutic, very good for your mental health. But are there other ways that you like to unplug in Nashville?
Yeah, I mean, it is Music City. We've got so many great venues, so many amazing artists who either are based here or who come and play here. And so I definitely love to get out and see live music when I can. We've got amazing independent cinema. Belcourt Theater is one of my favorites. So you're probably going to find me, if I can carve out the time on a weekend, seeing a movie with friends or going to music with friends.
I like it. My next question was asking what your favorite music venue was. So you're one step ahead of me.
Yep.
I like that. Let's take it more, personal. Let's go into our home. What are we currently watching on TV, if there is a chance to watch TV?
Yeah, I tell my friends I'm usually several years behind what's going on. I have been trying, again, snail's pace to close out Better Call Saul. So I'm finally in the 6th season there. So it's been fun to kind of catch up. I don't know how I pull it off, but I've been able for most of my life to avoid spoilers in most of the major things, knowing how far behind I am. So
I was going to say, are you still catching up on Seinfeld right now?
And then honestly, probably. So it's kind of funny because our younger daughter now is probably watched more episodes of The Simpsons than I have, which is a little terrifying in a way. But the other thing, we're kind of I'll say the grown-up TV in the house right now, we're making our way through The Pit.
I have heard great things about The Pit.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Do we secretly wish we went into medicine?
No,
Okay.
So under our roof, I am the one who's been in first software and now politics. And then I parent opposite a physician, and I'm not sure even she would say that it's something she would advise our girls to go into.
Does she say that The Pit is pretty accurate?
Actually, among all of the kind of medical procedurals that have been on, from ER to Grey's Anatomy through the years, even Scrubs, which is apparently back now with an updated version, I think she thinks it is the absolute closest to reality that a medical procedural has been.
You're saying Meredith Grey is not real?
Maybe not so much.
Oh man, that really bums me out today. Oh gosh. Okay, well, you know what? I like this. We talked a lot about, biking. We talked about going to the Sportsplex. What's in our headphones? What's on our playlist?
It ranges. I mean, I think so much of it depends on mood. I'll typically, again, very slowly add to my, after kind of years of buying CDs when I would find them at good prices. I'm now slowly working on vinyl, and I'll usually pick up stuff again, either at auction or live shows. So most recently got some, I got Margot Price, an old vinyl of hers. I got the Grand Ole Opry 100th anniversary album. So that's had some pretty amazing stuff on there. I will, for higher energy stuff, it was kind of fun to hear people's reviews of Coachella this year and kind of get back into some Moby and Fatboy Slim and Chemical Brothers and stuff from that era.
Are you leaning into a lot of the newer artists that are emerging, like Sabrina Carpenter or any of these people?
Tend to get that stuff through my daughters these days. Did take our younger with some friends over to see Alex Warren the other night at Bridgestone. For our older daughter's birthday. Took her to see Olivia Rodrigo last time she was through. Saw Pink over at Geodis a couple years ago. So, wow. I mean, there's some good stuff out there too. I will say music discovery is not something I have as much time for these days.
Well, we got to make time for it. Okay. Yep. It's Music City. We got to make time for it.
I do my best, but it is kind of fun to just sort of see what the girls are listening to and kind of, pick up some stuff from them from time to time.
You know what? Listen, if they are anything like me, kind of sounds like they are with the Sabrinas and the Taylors, I think you're going to be in some good company.
There is definitely quite a bit of Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift in their rotation.
Did you go to the Eras Tour when she came here?
No, we kind of put it out there that they got the choice, they could pick one, and it turned out for whatever reason our younger daughter was going through a Beyonce mode, and so we did see Beyonce.
Wow, what an interesting choice. I wish I would have had that choice. Wow. Okay, very, very cool. Look at that. Lightning round completely over. We are done with our lightning round. You all know our mayor, and good night. No. thank you so much for chatting with me. I think it's just so exciting to just chat with you. Like I said, behind the policies, behind the press conferences, behind the security details, behind it all. But, there are some really, really awesome things that you guys are doing behind the scenes. Let's talk about them. Let's just first and foremost, since we're talking about music in Music City, how are we bringing the charge to the forefront when it comes to music education?
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate to have in Dr. Battle, who is our director of schools, someone who I think also very much believes in music and the arts as a part of what we're offering to everybody participating in public education in Nashville. Most recently, you can see evidence of the successes that she's had with that program through Music City High, which has been a documentary that's come out, and it is kind of following on the heels of some work that they did with a performance group for Metro Schools that was a multi-school ensemble that has led to lots of the youth choruses that are out there in Metro Schools having an opportunity to also participate. But this resulted in Metro Schools winning an Emmy a couple of years ago, for a couple of songs that they've done that they sort of took on a roadshow, but they put together a really great documentary of an incredible couple of songs. And so it's neat because they get some studio time, they get some songwriting exposure. Then there's this great series of music education focus called Music Makes Us. And, that program overlaps with an amazing festival they do every year called the We Are Nashville Festival. And this year it was pretty amazing because my daughter, who is in high school and Metro Schools, has been doing the youth chorus there, and they got to go participate in the We Are Nashville Festival this year. So it was really neat to see, hey, here is this, years of investment in particularly vocal music, but also a lot of the instrumentalists and a youth orchestra all came together, multiple schools coming together, performing at the symphony, having some amazing guest artists come through. It's really incredible to see the culminating effect there. And I know a lot of the schools that have choruses. We also got to see our daughter's chorus perform with, it's sort of a triple showcase of Percy Priest Elementary, JT Moore Middle, and Hillsborough kind of all combining. And so I think there is, among the music teachers, they want to see this kind of thing expand to all the schools. We had come up through West End Middle. They've got an amazing band program. And so there's a little bit of, not every school is exactly the same in terms of what they offer, but it is pretty impressive to see the schools that do a ton of focus. And then for anybody, as we've just coming off another graduation season, to get out to Nashville School of the Arts, they have a remarkable commencement program that is basically a showcase of, music, theater, and visual arts. It's really incredible to see.
I love that, you are so knowledgeable about the different ways that people can access music education in and around the city. And I think it's really important to note that the arts are so important, not just, for our leisure, but for our mental health, for our IQ, our cognizant abilities. Could you speak to that a little bit? I laugh because I was just watching Glee, and that was, the insane, that is like the entire premise of the show is save the arts. We don't ever have to worry about that in Music City. I don't think anyone's threatening that here.
Well, maybe not, but I also would say it this way. I don't take it for granted that we are Music City. I think that is something that we have to be intentional about because we have other cities that would love to at some point consider themselves Music City. And so I think for us
we're not giving that up. That's not for sale.
Claim of Music City USA, but we do have to be intentional about it. So all of that music education matters. And it does matter too that we've got organizations even beyond Metro Schools offering entry points. And so I myself am an alum of W.O. Smith. They are an incredible local nonprofit that specifically tries to offer music education to kids that may be coming from more socioeconomically challenged backgrounds. And so it's great to know that we've got this broad base entry points. We've got this academies model in schools that prepares people for the business side, the production side, not even just the being an instrumentalist or a vocalist. And I'd say from having a music degree myself and then becoming a parent, one of the things that is most interesting is if you look at literally brain development, you can boost just sort of the activity literally in children's developing brains and kind of growing up by access to music.
Absolutely. And I will say also, I mean, I've been, in all my school years, growing up in Tennessee my entire life, music was always woven in to my fabric. And it really showed me that I'm a creative. It showed me that I love to be in a public facing job. And that's why I'm here today. So I have music to thank for that as well. I'd love to know, do you play any instruments or maybe took a stab at singing in the shower, in the car?
So W.O. Smith introduced me to piano. I was never going to go to conservatory, right? I mean, I can still sight read badly, but you wouldn't invite me to be a guest performer at the symphony, for instance. But it is still fun to be able to pick up a piece of sheet music and occasionally work on something. And then, otherwise you might find me at karaoke sometimes.
What's your go-to karaoke song? That's a good lightning round question.
I mean, I would say right now, just kind of in the wake of just sadly losing Don Schlitz, I did The Gambler not that long ago.
Right.
So,
Oh, you know what? That's a really great way to honor him.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, okay. So I love that we're chatting about music education because this conversation can go so deep into what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've got a lot of musical influences around you in just your household as well.
Very much so.
The other influence, though, is your children. A mayor is only as good as the cause that beats his heart. So I would love to hear also about childcare and the recent bill you guys passed to fast track that.
Yeah, it was actually a companion. There were two bills, and one of them was kind of focused on childcare centers, and the other sort of focused on home-based childcare. And again, this is a cause that we've had a lot of lived experience with, where when we started the process of elementary education for our older daughter, there was, it turns out, almost like a secret code within a community around the school we were going to that you tried to get on the wait list when you found out you were pregnant, kind of thing. And basically coming into the school from outside that immediate neighborhood, it was really, really hard to not have a guaranteed aftercare seat. And I wound up having to make a professional decision to have to change things up to be available at 3 p.m. every day, because basically the school day doesn't even come close to matching the work day for most working families. And so went through that, continued to work with the school, the district providers, and actually got a few years in a second on-site childcare service operating out of the school, which was a big deal. And by the time our older daughter graduated, there were actually wait lists for both programs. And so you could see how much demand there was for childcare. So fast forward a few years, again, we've been lucky that kind of fight produced success for our family, but I've been thinking about ways to continue to expand that. Very fortunate to have some partners on the Metro Council as invested in this. We did just basically, in the same way that we fast-tracked permitting for affordable housing, we have now basically fast-tracked it for childcare. Similarly, we've gone back and looked with some really good experience with sort of home occupations, people offering, for instance, in-home piano lessons, ways to create more home-based childcare more easily in more communities across the city. And none of these things sidestep any safety regulations, licensing regulations, or any of that. It's more about cutting red tape on the metro side so that people can more inexpensively, more quickly make more childcare available. Because part of it is just that availability of where you can open a center, what it takes to open one, what it takes to be involved in home-based. And I will say, growing up in Nashville, I benefited from both home-based childcare and on-site childcare at childcare facilities. So know how important both options are to so many families, and we want to ease that pathway for availability and lower the costs.
They've made a lasting impact on you, and we are wasting no time, which really shows the importance and the need here. Where are these facilities located? And another question I want to ask you, if someone's listening and says, I want to lend my services to this for the Middle Tennessee or the Nashville community, where do they need to go? I'd say
maybe one of the first places to turn is the Nashville Early Education Coalition. This is a relatively new coalition led by Melanie Schenbaum, and it's supported by us, supported by the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. But they not only have great resources for helping kind of identify opportunities if people want to jump in. I will say, from all the child care centers I know, there is always a need for qualified teachers, instructors, caregivers. And so plenty of opportunities. It is a big focus for us on the workforce side too, because we know that's one of the challenges of making sure that we are making those positions available, compensating effectively, looking at, training scenarios and so forth. So that's a big piece of it. And then I will say it can be a challenge to navigate the landscape of where to find appropriate childcare. But I think once you're a new parent, there tend to be really good resources available through either workplace or school or any of those scenarios. Like this summer, for instance, Metro Parks has a great summer enrichment program that has a lot of demand for that scenario. So we try to make this a year-round point of access and location for people, but people can find those things on the Nashville.gov website for where we're offering it. Metro Schools has not only their main school offerings, but you can find out where they've got pre-K sites, where they've got early learning centers, and then bigger childcare scenarios. Again, I would say a good starting point for people is the Nashville Early Education Coalition.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what ages do you primarily serve? Obviously, we know 18-year-olds are not looking for childcare right now.
Yeah, my focus has been those earliest years, kind of the pre-K and elementary years, because we know those are the hardest, for any working family. Before the age of 10, you can't safely or legally leave kids at home. And so that tends to be those first 10 years are the most important to have somebody available. And then credit to Mayor Dean, we just celebrated 15 years of the Nashville After Zone Alliance, which is targeted historically more at middle school years because, again, after school still, we want people to have access to creative opportunities, things like arts, music, technology. You can find out more about all the things that NASA does at nashvillez.org.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool to note because you are somebody who really does take a moment and look into towards your own household to find those needs. And you said that this was something that you needed yourself. And I love that you said that you guys do this all year round. So this isn't just during the school year.
No, we know. And again, from lived experience, it's so important to have opportunities during summer when school is not in session during winter. And we're lucky that the city has so many incredible places that are available to families. And I mean, we've taken advantage and through the years of great organizations like Nashville Gymnastics Training Center. There are awesome camps. There are camp guides out there. A lot of our nonprofits like Cheekwood or the Zoo or the Adventure Science Center offer those kinds of things for when school is out of session. And then, yes, our public parks offer an incredible array of things. The Nashville Public Library has great areas like a teen center in multiple branches and plenty of places for people to go and not just be safe, but also have fun, and frequently to have adults there to be mentors, and then also to have some space just to be teenagers.
Yeah. School is officially out. Summer is here.
School is officially out.
It's very hot outside. So if you have a child that has come up to you and said, I'm bored, we've got you.
And then even beyond that, once you kind of get through those sort of childcare moments, we also want people to have access to those early stages of how they might be thinking about their professional life later too. So we just kicked off our Power Youth Initiative. It's a great sort of youth workforce program in our Metro Action Commission that has served more than 1,500 young people with paid work opportunities and great professional experience and sort of career building skills. So that's another thing that Metro is doing. So these are all things that your local government is doing for you.
I really like that. And let's talk about your youth, not to call you old or anything, but I think, I was looking and you have several degrees in computer science, music. Yep. And did I see that you were once an on-air personality for your student media station at Vanderbilt?
So I had done college radio at Brown where I had gone to college, but then also came back when Vanderbilt had a wonderful full power FM station. A friend and I took part, and they had a great series of slots for community DJs, and they were great about it. The college radio at WRVU not only went to great lengths to offer real world DJ experience to their student body, but they also paired that with reserving several slots for community DJs. So every year, every semester, it was a great mix of student DJs who were just kind of learning the ropes of being in a studio, working a board, thinking about everything from playlist to content, to then have, either semi-professional or,
or the
long
mayor.
time. Well, way before I ever thought about running for anything, just people in the community that knew radio, loved radio, wanted to be on the radio. And so it was a great mix. And you can still find a lot of that same spirit out there. That a lot of those community DJs drifted over to WXNA when they started up.
Well, you're my honorary co-host today.
Well, there you go. Glad to be here.
He sat in my seat when he first got here, and I said, okay, Mayor O'Connell, stay in your lane. No. I love this because I really wanted to ask you this. A lot of people that go into politics or a form of government or law, I don't know if that's something that they really thought of when they were really young. When did that just come to you?
Oh, it was absolutely not a natural thing. It was sort of, it's sort of an accidental journey. Bought a house almost 20 years ago, sort of got invited by neighbors to, it was sort of that tipping point of, hey, will you take a leadership role in the neighborhood association? So I was like, okay,
wow.
Like it, got some skin in the game here, got some great neighbors, happy to work with them. And just kept, working on neighborhood leadership issues, joined with some other neighborhoods around us, got into a bigger North Nashville coalition. And, eventually enough people were like, you should think about running for council, which was not a thing I was thinking about. Separately, I had worked a lot, again, lived experience informing this on transit, bike ped issues, like thinking about how people move around the city more easily and more safely. And frankly, more inexpensively. And so, in fact, when we bought our house, neither one of us owned a car. And so it was, kind of thinking about things in that way. And we had just gone through some difficult discussions about what was happening in the city with transit. And I thought, well, the next thing we probably need to do, I had been on our local transit authority board of directors appointed by Mayor Carl Dean for several years. I was like, well, this really needs more attention on the funding side. And I think that the recognition that maybe I could have a louder, more effective voice in that conversation on Metro Council is kind of what, with encouragement from neighborhood leaders and knowing that there might be more impact on policy down the road, I decided to run.
I really, really love that story. And it just shows something that really stuck out to me while you were saying all this was empathy really guided and led your fight to become mayor of Music City.
Yeah. In 2024, we were successful in implementing a transit referendum. And I kind of shared on election night after it was clear that we had prevailed and that hundreds of thousands of Nashvillians had supported an effort to build better transportation infrastructure and service delivery, that there was a guy I had met more than 20 years ago who was legally blind. And I was kind of making a primarily economic decision at that point, but he sort of introduced me into going to public meetings, talking about things, how the advocacy process was working for him because he was transit dependent. And I was sort of, I was trying to stay debt free after college and making an important economic decision there. But it was really a great way to start thinking about impact in public policy. And so thinking about how we could advocate together and that way that somebody who needed the service and somebody who wanted the service to be better for everybody could work together really has informed a lot of the stuff I've done over the past, now almost 25 years. It's
a great reminder for someone listening that it really just starts with maybe something that tugs at your heart, and then that it just snowballs into so many other things. And you probably have had your eyes open to so many other needs in the community because of that. Where do people need to go to get in contact with the mayor's office to tell you about their needs?
Yeah, you can walk right in the front door. We've actually expanded it so that we now typically will have two people sitting there because we know that we are going to have people literally walk in. You can call any day of the week, 615-862-6000 to reach the mayor's office. You can send an email to mayor@nashville.gov. On nashville.gov, you can find forms for requesting things from our office. I mean, we, whether you want me to come be on a show or be at a community event, we get all that kind of stuff. And then I do try to be just out in the community a lot, which is a great way to meet people, have conversations, try to be pretty accessible. And we're a city with so many great public spaces, great ways to congregate, that, there are so many reasons on beautiful days like today to be out in our parks, be out experiencing the city. And so, try to make myself available for people when I'm just out and about.
I love it. There you have it. The man, the myth, the legend. You've heard his day, his life, his journey. We are so honored to have you in our studio, Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Please come back. My honorary co-host.
Yeah, great to be with you. And certainly for anybody that just needs something from the city, you can also always use Hub Nashville, hub.nashville.gov to report anything that Metro needs attention.
Your PR was like, yes, you plugged it. Hub Nashville. Love it. We've got all this information and more on our Focus Facebook page. We will see you next week on Focus.